Hi everybody, this is Jay Shaw. I'm here with my friend behind the camera, and we're just going to have a conversation about whatever's going on in our minds. It's unscripted. I hope we're going to talk about things related to relationships or trust or emotions, because that's stuff that I'm all really interested in, and hopefully we'll get into topics that relate to larger things too. So hope you enjoy watching.
So what prompted the filming of this video?
Well, I like doing these videos a lot. I have not done them in a long time because I've started to get self-conscious about how I look, how I speak. For every person, they change ever so slightly when they're on camera. And for the host of videos I've filmed before, I'd look at myself and I'd be overly critical, and I just didn't like what I was seeing. And so I took a long time off. This is my first video of this nature that I've filmed in 6 months. But I'm happy to be back at it because the forces that brought me to do this, the purpose I felt in terms of speaking ideas that could hopefully help people, my desire for self-expression, those still remain within me. And so here I am again.
So these videos do something for you? They benefit you in some way?
They benefit me. I'm trying to make a career out of this, and in some respect I also sing in a band, and I hope to make a career out of that too. But more importantly than external things is how I feel when I do it. If I can say things that legitimately help people, that means something to me. I was texting with somebody that I haven't seen in a few years that we're friends on Facebook, and he said to me that he really likes my videos and that I'm an inspiration, and I appreciated that. So it's encouragement like that that helps bring me to do this stuff again.
So would you say that tennis or the music is more natural, since you said the speaking thing is not as much?
I think the speaking thing is natural. I have those three things that I like a lot. The music one cropped up more recently. It was after my dad died, and I began to realize that I love music, and I've always wanted to sing. And I had a bass good voice from the standpoint of the voice, the natural voice is good. It just never had any type of training. So when I first started singing about a year ago, it was awful. And it's on its way, it's getting better. Yeah, it was awful. And I started this band with some of my friends from high school, and we're like anybody who's new at anything. It was really bad, but it's gotten better with time. But I like the tennis a lot. I've liked tennis since I was a kid. So I don't know what's more natural or not. If something emerges later on in your life, that doesn't mean it's less natural than something that you've had since you were young. But something that you've had since you were young most probably is something that's very natural to you.
So I'm gonna switch a little bit. Vlogs and video of people talking to them, to the camera, to themselves. It's all over the place. Why do you think people need the camera so much, or want the camera so much to record?
Camera is a two-sided thing. There's positives and negatives involved with it. If you look at things historically, there were never cameras until about the 1870s or so. No cameras of any sort. So this whole aspect of self-expression and recording moments through the visual didn't exist. So you don't actually need a camera. There have been billions of people who've lived their entire life and lived good lives and found some of the deepest truths internally, did amazing service for their communities, never knew what a camera was. And there may be some of those people like that today, living in rural areas and countries that don't have technology like we have in the West. But I think today there is a culture where people feel the need to make a profile for themselves that looks impressive for people, and so they do. We have Facebook, and we have LinkedIn, and we have all types of profile companies where you make a profile and everybody does it. And anytime you have a situation where everybody's doing something, or it looks like everybody's doing something, because not everybody is on those platforms, people feel pressure to do the same thing, especially when it becomes related to their career prospects.
You said the camera was a two-sided thing or device.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mean that in the sense that it could have a negative impact to it, or just the fact that there's somebody on the other side, hypothetically at least, receiving the information, so you're getting it out?
I meant it positively and negatively. So the negative aspect is that people become too the positive is that you can put yourself out there, you can record your life and look back on it many years from now, which can elicit amazing memories from when you were younger, or bad memories, and show you how much you've changed. There's a photo of me from 5 years ago where I was significantly heavier than I am now because I wasn't looking after my health. And it's shocking to see because I don't see that me now. Seeing that photo from 2014 is always interesting for me. And I've showed it to other people too who are trying to lose weight, right? So there's the aspect of having access to photos of a documentation of your life. And then that's the positive side, and the ability to reach people through your words or through your images and so forth. Then the negative aspect is that people become excessively self-conscious. They feel like they need to develop a type of personality that looks impressive or so forth. And the social media platforms are not to blame for this. Social media in and of itself is a neutral thing, and how it ends up getting used becomes an externalization of what people are feeling inside. So it can end up showing a lot of things that you wouldn't know that's going on in people's minds. Obviously, social media platforms are used for a lot of arguments as relates to politics, as relates to other topics also. There's a lot of hostility, there's a lot of negativity that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. It doesn't mean it didn't exist. But if these conversations keep happening, two things happen there too. People can see more sides of a argument that they wouldn't have seen before, or people just see a lot of negativity, then they themselves get depressed, and in a circular, cyclical type of way, things actually do get worse. Because if you think everything is negative, you're going to start acting negatively. That's why it's positive that we have positivity in the world. We have beacons of shining light in the world. And one of the reasons that I do what I do one of the ways in which I use the camera in a positive way is to bring on people in my show like amazing people, where I've had doctors, the #1 triathlete in the world, formerly, entrepreneurs, and we talk about how we can make the world better. We talk about habits for success. That's one positive aspect of cameras. Negative aspect is you get too self-conscious, start developing your personality.
Do you think anybody can be truly honest with the camera? Can the camera make you more honest, or does it make you less honest?
A camera will never make you more honest. At very best, you'll be just as honest as you would be otherwise. But in the Harry Potter series, when they capture somebody and they want to get them to tell the truth, they give them something called Veritaserum. And Veritaserum has its root in the Latin, I believe, veritas, which means truth. So normally, in normal life, irrespective of cameras, whenever somebody is in a situation where they stand to gain or lose something, the true, authentic self that they are doesn't show. There's always a layer. There's always some degree of filter that is in between what they feel and what they say. The degree of that filter changes as per how that person is and what the severity of the consequences are. But in general, the only way someone can be totally honest on the camera, just as honest as they'd be otherwise, is if they had no idea, no future implication about what they're speaking at that time. If they weren't thinking about how it was going to impact people. If they didn't have that self-consciousness. The self-consciousness is where the dishonesty comes in.